All I'm ever doing is trying to take empathy, gratitude, kindness, positivity, optimism, and create repackaging for it in modern society to help somebody see it, because life is one big game of perspective. You have crazy, beautiful eyes.
The first time you said that to me was like, I think it was the first time we met, and it was like one of the most awkward things ever, because I was like,
for me it was
I did not expect
awkward.
that from Gary.
Yeah.
Like, it was the last thing I expected from you.
But you did nothing to make that happen.
True. I always say I can't take credit for them. I say that all the time.
I don't take credit for anything I am.
Yeah.
All my accolades, I'm like, my parents,
Yeah.
my circumstance,
Yeah.
ooh, Soviet Russia to America, ooh, the 80s, oh, Jersey, oh, this, oh, some form of learning disability that made me shitty at school, like, ooh, right? By the way, not being diagnosed with a learning disability, which then either I'm right or I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. I didn't have to deal with that pressure, especially in the 80s when it was a little bit more of like scary than it is now. Like, what if I was? What if I did? Maybe I didn't. Probably not, because they would have caught me. You get into all these circumstances. This is a big deal though. I'm sure that what I talk about is right for me because I'm incredibly in tune with myself, and I'm an incredibly good communicator in a style that hits a certain group, which helps them get the insight to create affirmation, to create lack of fear, to try something, to start the process, to get to a happier place.
Yeah.
That is a fucking blessing.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I want people to figure out that things are right for them based on their luck, circumstance, what's their beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe they're not an entrepreneur because they don't have incredible lack of fear, but maybe that they are incredibly compassionate, unbelievably analytical, remarkably competitive, incredibly gorgeous, wonderfully funny. Like, let's lean into what we're fucking awesome about. Everybody's spending all their time on what they suck at.
Yeah.
Themselves, they're doing that. And I promise you, everybody else is spending all their time telling you what you suck at.
Yeah.
I'm spending all my time thinking about what I'm fucking awesome at.
Yeah.
And I'm spending all my time trying to figure out what everybody else is awesome at. Some of it's very obvious, like beautiful eyes. Others are like, hey, you're a good fucking kid. Keep listening to me. I am stunned by how almost binary my judgment is completely predicated on intent.
Mm-hmm.
If I believe your intent was to be there for me, but your actions were not that you were consistent, I'm completely unbothered, and I don't know what that means, but I'm super fucking grateful that I have it.
Yeah, but that's an art and a skill that you have. And I'd like to think I have the same, where I'm able to do that too. I'm able to let go.
What is the concept of not having expectations from your perspective? Because I would tell you that may be my great superpower.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, Tom Bellew on my podcast said to me, Gary, your superpower is your ability not to judge yourself. And I've been saying it a lot. And then literally on a flight this week, I was like, right, because I don't judge others.
Yes.
Like, I'm able to not judge myself because I don't judge others. A lot of people who are like, right? So tell me, I don't know, I'm
so
just
powerful. No,
what do
I
you think
love
about
that. That's
okay.
such a great point.
How do you
That's
think about
such
that
a great point. No, you're spot on, because the reason why we judge others is because we judge ourselves, right? The opposite of what you're saying. And so for me, it's the same thing. The reason why I don't expect is because I see everything as my responsibility.
Yep.
I see everything as my work.
Yes.
And I see everything else as a bonus.
Yes.
Like, it's just amazing that anyone even cares about me or has time for me or makes an effort to do something or connect me to someone or whatever it is. And that's just a beautiful bonus of life. But I've got to be in charge of it. And I think that just came from many years of having expectations. I think that came from times when I did expect and I didn't get, and I realized I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Well, this gets into parenting.
Yes.
This is the framework of what our parents are creating for us. One of the most interesting things that are happening in a lot of modern societies is we have had disproportionate prosperity over 5, 6, 7 decades. America has had a clean run. I mean, we've had a couple of recessions here and there. We've had a couple of internal country scandals. We have underlining issues of sexism and racism and things of that nature. But in its most macro, this has been the empire. Things have been good. And what has happened is we've created unbelievable levels of entitlement.
Entitlement, yeah.
Entitlement.
Entitlement.
I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's starting to consume me that I never, it sounds crass, like never expect anything from anyone. But I almost want to find new ways to say it just to help people understand it is the great gift of life.
Yeah.
When you get into a place where you have zero expectations and you actually don't believe you're entitled to anything, you can actually start doing things.
Yes, absolutely. Because otherwise that's what's paralyzing you.
Because you feel like somebody else is in control.
Totally.
The man, the society, the government, the president, the not president, the governor, the mayor, the system, the systematic infrastructure.
And really it's a crutch, right? Like really it's just a crutch. Like that's another way of saying it.
At its worst, it's an excuse.
Yes.
At its best, it's a lack of perspective.
Yeah. You talk about so much about the value of human life.
Yes.
And how rare it is and how amazing it is, which I don't know if you know this, but it's like such a deep Vedic concept, which is like thousands of... So Vedic is like the philosophy that I studied in. Okay. It's like one of the oldest philosophies of mankind. Okay. And one of the biggest principles in there is about the value of human life.
Like the way I think about 400 trillion to one.
Correct.
It's helped so many people, by the way. Yeah. Out of all the pieces of content I've ever put out, something in it has penetrated.
How does one get to, like when I hear you say it, when I look at the way I was taught it, when I look at the monks that I know live it, when I know people that really live that, what was it that helped you really accept
gratitude
and live that? There we go. Okay. Nice.
All I'm ever doing is trying to take empathy, gratitude, kindness, positivity, optimism, and create repackaging for it in modern society to help somebody see it. Because life is one big game of perspective. And if you've been raised by parents in an environment and have natural DNA that makes you look at something upside down, I've got to flip it. And when I say I have this enormous love and need for admiration that I've come to realize. Admiration will not come in the form of me making the most money. Admiration will not come in any other form than if I give so much more to you than I expect from you in return. I was gifted an ability of the gift to gab. I am creative. I understand attention graphs. I have work ethic. I have aspirations. All of that has created one big game where I feel responsibility to be able to get this message out in a way that won't get to people that can never become monks or that won't become disproportionately high educated philosophical. I'm in the trenches with my style, but it's the same fucking product. Yeah. And so 400 trillion to one was one way for me to get people to be like, do you fucking understand? There's nothing any of us in this room will accomplish that is even in the fucking galaxy of that we having a chance to do something.
Yeah. I
just don't understand. What are you going to complain about today that is even remotely close to never having the ability to have a life? But like what? What are you going to complain about? Like what's so shitty in your life? Like you've got the at-bat. Even if you're the worst ranked person, 7.7 billion in the world, you're born to slavery and genocide in a fifth world country where you're raped every day, starved, slaved, lose your parents, no love. The game of life actually still creates the rare potential for you to break out of that and go on to do something and then bring positivity to the world better than not being born at all. I believe that.
What's the worst advice you're hearing out there right now that you want people to be more thoughtful about?
All of it, because it lacks self-awareness. It lacks pushing people into self-awareness, and it lacks context. Anything, all advice right now is a problem, including all of mine. It's why I'm trying to make it about them. There's a lot of bad advice, brother. Like if somebody watches me and gets fired up to start a business and they're schlemiel and can't do a business, they're going down a path of depression. Yeah. If they're a competitive, ambitious person, but they also went to high society education, and right now the push there is balance and like hard work is bad, and we become too much of Europe. I believe this, by the way. Like that's bad advice for somebody because they're going to be depressed because they lean too into current social, political correctness, and what they actually are is a dog, and they just want to grind.
Yeah.
But right now, grinding is bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
All advice is bad if you haven't deployed enough love for yourself and self-awareness to understand what to pick off.
You have a video titled "The Dumb Stuff You Buy Owns You."
Yes.
Which I love.
Yes.
What is the dumbest thing you've ever bought?
Great question.
Because we've all bought dumb stuff.
My current apartment in New York City.
Interesting.
It made me super not liquid, made me miss out on investing in Uber. You know, it's the dumbest in literal, but it established my family in a neighborhood that I wanted to raise it. So it's obviously way better. But in the second level, you know, probably the dumbest thing that I've ever bought are the things that I didn't buy.
Right. Right.
Like a vacation that I should have taken, which would have been a fruitful use of time. That's definitely it. You know, as I'm trying to be a little bit better in communicating regrets, because I can't focus on them, but I want to talk about them because I don't want to make it seem like I'm not human.
Yeah.
I could have done a lot more balance of leisure, 14 to 30, because I worked every minute.
Yeah.
I wish, and when you start with I wish, that is regret. I wish I had 5 to 10 more memories in my 20s with my high school and college friends of going on those trips that everybody does. Like there's a very interesting clip of me where you can really see it manifest, where I talk about like, I'm not lucky. Like a bunch of kids when I first started blowing up from high school and college would hit me up and they're like, Gary, you're so lucky. And I was like, motherfucker, I'm not lucky.
Yeah.
When you went to the Jersey Shore every weekend, I worked my ass off. It's not necessarily what I want to be talking about right now. And I'm trying to get the temperature of society, but it's a very big truth.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing I ever bought were the things that I ended up not buying. I talk a lot about why people aren't capable of producing content to the world, which is now the requirement as a human to achieve happiness. I genuinely believe that. I believe taking advantage of all of our abilities to reach out to the world through these new channels with no friction is an enormous gift and opportunity. The reason most can't achieve it is because they're unable to take back the inevitable feedback that immediately comes with the opportunity. To your point, I genuinely believe the reason I can take the feedback is because when I go into my Instagram post that I just posted, literally in back-to-back comments, one will say that I'm walking on water and the next will say that I'm a snake oil salesman charlatan. The fact that neither penetrate my psyche is absolutely where I'm at.
Absolutely. And that's equanimity, right? Like that is that, whatever you want to call it.
It's the game because people want the positive reinforcement that, you know, there's so many models on Instagram, right? Men and women. You're so beautiful. You look so great. You're so beautiful. You look so great. You're full of shit. You look fake. They're crushed because they take too much in that you look so great.
Yes. And I think that's the point that we're hitting on here, which I love, is that overemphasis on positive, it's what makes the negative so hard to take. It's
also an incredible place for me to add some clarity that I haven't done a good job on historically, which is something I'm thinking a lot more about. Raghav, it's fun to see you here because we had this call yesterday. I'm like, look, I'm at my worst when I'm excited in an interview and I'm drilling a headline because I love doing it. It's fun. It's showmanship. It's wrestling, promo videos. It's my natural state. You know, I talk a lot about not giving a fuck about other people's opinions. It's also because I take the complete opposite approach, which is every negative piece of feedback that I get, I genuinely go into two places. A, I deploy sympathy and empathy for the person leaving the comment because inevitably, immediately on that action, I know that they're not in a good place. If you go to somebody else's social, consume it, and then spew hate, you're not in a good place.
No, absolutely.
You're unhappy.
Yeah.
Next, I start trying to see the insight to any truth in it. You know, the second that you're high on your own supply, you're vulnerable.
Yes.
And so 100%. I don't give a fuck about anybody's opinion. Ironically, I value everybody's opinion. I just synthesize it and then decide to take the good from it.
Yes.
By deploying empathy and sympathy to the deliverer of the, I'm stunned by our lack of conversation in society right now on this part. There's a lot of judgment and hot takes and comments. We need to judge the person delivering the message.
Absolutely.
Like how is your mother's opinion of you have the same weight as Anonymous 54's comment on Instagram?
Yeah.
That is ludicrous.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the same way of how does a coworker's opinion, you have to factor that in different than your mother because your mother blindly thinks you're the best if you're lucky enough to have that mother, and so it's super fast. It's just pulling from opposite directions. And I think, I'm pulling so hard from opposite directions that my balance is coming in that. Look, when I do a podcast like this, knowing that you have such a thoughtful audience, I come on knowing we overlap in a lot of places. All I've been thinking about for the first 10 minutes, and all I'll think about for the rest of this talk is, can I bring one person value? Can I add an adjective, a sentence, saying the same thing in a different way than Jay or somebody else says, that helps Karen, who's listening to this right now on her treadmill, actually do something. There's nothing more intoxicating than when you're a communicator than getting the feedback loop of somebody saying, you said something, I did something, I'm happier now, end of story.